welcome to Beaver Creek Creations this morning. We got a rainy morning out and I decided to try and do a little bit video. Today I want to talk about the bandsaw a little bit. I see a lot of people on Facebook trying to get into woodworking and struggling with using the bandsaw a little bit. They have trouble with it staying on the line, or especially when they're trying to resaw pieces of wood, having the blade cut straight and stuff like that. So I want to try and talk to you a little bit about some of that stuff, some of the terminology, what some of the terms mean, and that type of thing. So first thing is when we're talking about band saws, you're talking about saws that have a round blade. So let me see if I can get it. The blades are round, and so that means they're continuously circulating around and around when they're making the cut. So the first thing you want to do is set the tension properly. A lot of different saws have different ways of doing that. This one right here has a particular one adjustment setting where you can just flip our arm, and if you're using the same type of blade every time, you just flip that arm, put the blade on, flip it back, and it's tensioned properly if you have it properly adjusted at the beginning. To do that, you want the blade to flex a little bit. You don't want it to be so hard and sturdy that it doesn't move a little bit. You want a little bit of movement so that it doesn't break the blade, but at the same time, you don't want so much movement that you can't control the blade. You want it just enough to be able to move it with your finger with just a little bit of pressure. About with this particular saw, about a 1/16 of an inch or so. Okay. Some people will say that you can ping it like so, and get to the right pitch, and you can get to setting that way. I have mine set up where I can move it about a 1/16 of an inch with just a little bit of pressure on my finger, and that works really good with this particular saw that I have. I have a 9-inch Ryobi band saw right now. Hopefully one day I'll be able to upgrade to a bigger one, but for right now this is meeting the needs that I have quite nicely with the small stuff that I make. So that's the first thing, is setting your tension. You want it to be just enough where you can just slightly move it with your finger with just a little bit of pressure. Second thing is this different widths of the blades. You have different widths. You have wider widths and narrower widths. The wider widths are made for thicker cuts. The thicker the wood, you want a wider blade. The thinner the wood and the thinner the diameter of your cut, or the radius of your cut, the thinner you want your blade to make those tight turns. If you want to do just straight cuts, you want a wider blade as you can put on. If you want to do real tight turns, you want a thinner blade, a smaller blade. So that's another thing that you have to think about, is the thickness or the width of the blade. Most band saws go from about 1/8 of an inch. I think this particular one here will go up to 1/2 an inch. But the bigger ones, you can get blades all the way up to like 3/4 of an inch, or some of them even an inch for what they do for resawing and stuff like that. But this particular saw, this smaller saw, goes from 1/8 of an inch up to a 1/2 an inch. 1/2 an inch is what I usually use if I do some resawing. This particular saw will only resaw about 3 inches. So that's plenty for what I need on this saw. Bigger saws, if you get like your bigger 18-inch saws, things like that, and that's the distance from your blade to the throat of the saw. When you're talking about size of the band saws, like this is a 9-inch, that's the distance from the blade to this point here, or the throat of the saw. 14-inch from the blade be 14 inches to the throat of the saw. So you have 14 inches that you can play with in between here. That's the difference with that. And that's why the different sizes. Teeth per inch. That's another big thing a lot of people misunderstand with teeth per inch. With teeth per inch, if you're cutting thicker wood, you want actually less teeth. You want a more aggressive cut. Think of it like combing your hair. When you get it, if you have a lot of hair and you're combing your hair, you want to be able to pull the comb through your hair easily. So you use a wider comb with bigger teeth to be able to get through the hair easily until you get all the tangles out. Once you get all the tangles out, then you go to a smaller teeth. Kind of the same thing with the bandsaw. The bigger teeth are for bigger, thicker wood and for straight cuts. To move, it helps you to remove the sawdust easily. This thing creates a lot of sawdust. The thicker the teeth, the more wood's going to remove quicker, and therefore you can cut straighter and faster. The thinner, the more teeth you have, the thinner the wood, and the more radius you can get with the blades. Radius, I mean arcs or circumferences or rounds or what have you, tight turns, that type of thing. So that's what you want to think about with teeth per inch. The more teeth per inch, it's made for tighter radius cuts, so that when you're cutting, it cuts smoother and removes less wood at a time, so that you can take your time and move the wood through the blade slower and more accurately. If you're cutting this away with thicker wood, you want a more teeth per inch, and you want to be able to remove more wood at a time so that you can cut through. Another reason for that is to keep the blade cool. If you get the blade too hot, it will dull the blade. A lot of people calls it the offset. It will make the offset of the blade out of offset, which means your blades are like this. So you have teeth like this. If you get it too hot, they come back into straight like this, and then that's what makes it start veering off your line, getting off your line, making when you start in cutting and it goes off to one side or the other. The teeth has gotten too hot and the set has gotten off, or either it's gotten too dull on one side, and so then you're going to cut more on one side than the other, and that's why you veer off your lines. You can't keep it straight. So that's a lot of what I've learned with bandsaw. You want to allow the saw to really do the work. You don't want to force it through. You want the blade to do the work for you. You want to be pushing it through just enough so that the blade is removing the wood from the cut. And so if you want a good smooth cut, you want to really take your time and just push the wood through slowly so that the blade can have time to remove the wood. You don't want to try to force it through. You don't want to bend the blade back this way. That's going to increase the heat in it again. And that's going to, that's going to make the blade dull. And that's going to make you start cutting one side or the other, or cutting sideways, or not being able to stay on your line. I've got several blades hanging up over there right now where I've done that with. I've learned that. And so now I take my time. I go through the cut smoothly and slowly, and I get more accurate cuts that way. And hopefully this will help you guys to do more accurate cuts and slower cuts and better cuts, smoother cuts. And I hope that you all will get out there and use your bandsaws, use your saws, get out there in the woodworking shop and create something. So that's what I have for today. And so if y'all would like to like this video, please do. Subscribe to my videos. Please subscribe. I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel, And when I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plan on doing something special with my videos. So please help me to reach that goal. Subscribe, share, uh, comment. Please comment. If you have questions or comments, please comment so that I can answer you and hopefully grow this channel to where one day we can all learn something about woodworking and what woodworking means to us as craftsmen and as artists. So I also have an Etsy channel, Beaver Creek by Stanley.etsy.com. Y'all go over and check that out. I'm growing that as well, trying to add more stuff to that. Have a Facebook page under Beaver Creek Creations as well. Go over and check that out. You can see on the Facebook page where I'm working on an antique sideboard, refinishing it. And that's been a pretty good challenge. So hopefully I can get that done next few days. But I've been working on that and got pictures of that on my Facebook page. So y'all go over and check that out as well. And till next time, y'all get out there and make some sawdust, make some man glitter, and hopefully see you soon. So thank y'all.